Hi pals, here we are again. It's me, Artie, they, them pronouns only. So this is a video I wasn't expecting to be making, but we have another chronic illness treatment update video. I saw my rheumatologist face to face during the week that I'm filming this. I'm filming this on a Sunday. Yeah, generally I was kind of dreading it because I have had a lot of my chronic pain concerns kind of brushed off, and they were brushed off today as well. I was told to exercise, but there was also a lot of other stuff that happened in this appointment. Let's start with a positive. We got another blood pressure reading in my Takayasu's arm. And to be honest, it wasn't that much different to my non-Takayasu's arm. But I do have high blood pressure at the moment in my non-Takayasu's arm. I was at like 140 something over 80 or 90 something. And my right arm with the narrowed artery was 110 over like 80 or 90. I can't remember, but yeah, still positive that we are still getting a reading. Kind of more evidence to show that maybe I am or have been developing collateral veins or capillaries, which I am pleased about because I didn't want to just jump straight into surgery. And I'm glad I didn't. You know, I still deal with a lot of pain in this arm when it comes to like using it a lot, because the muscles are starved of oxygen, so they don't get enough oxygen when I do a lot. But the only way to encourage those veins and capillaries to grow is by continuing to use and try to push through that pain sometimes, you know. So that's one positive. I also was not made to feel bad for not wanting to weigh myself, so I didn't weigh myself. I just just didn't want any more ammo for exercise more. Yeah, my rheumatologist struggles to find my pulse in both of my arms when it comes to just using like her hands and stuff, but other people I know have been totally fine at getting it in my non-Takayasu's arm. That was also confirmed a couple of days after this appointment when I had my, regular blood test. My phlebotomist wanted to check my heart rate, so I put the little thing on my finger, and then to double check, she used her fingers on my wrist and she had no problems finding it. So I just think that might be my rheumatologist's problem. But still no bruits or bruits, no other kind of concerns when it comes to Takayasu's and blood flow. Everything sounds fine. It is what it is. I haven't really been experiencing any Takayasu's flare type of pain in a while. I have started to work on tapering again, but I just kind of have to do it my own way. I have to kind of just cut a lot of pills in half, so I'm only going up and down half a milligram, because 1 milligram just seems to be too much a lot of the time past a certain point. So currently I think I'm around 10/10.5 milligrams, micrograms, whatever it is, of steroids. Still feeling fine when it comes to Takayasu stuff. Yeah, we went through my medication in the rheumatology appointment. She was very confused when I said that I'm on 50 micrograms of mercaptopurine and asked me why. I was like, because one of you rang me to tell me to get off of it because my liver function tests were really bad. You know, insert my last video on this here, because that's the last I heard about any of this. I was told to come off it completely for a week, go back on to 50 micrograms, get another blood test and see how my liver tests were doing on blood tests, because they had like gone from normal or slightly high to nearly 100 to then doubling in a month to nearly 200. I can't remember who called me to tell me that. It was either the rheumatologist or her registrar at the time, but that was it. That's all I was told from there. So somebody has not communicated appropriately somewhere. It's either someone hasn't made that note in the files, or somebody hasn't communicated properly with me on the expectations of this drug. But basically they, because I had no idea this was possible, but they think my liver function tests, that's what they keep being called to me. I don't know whether they're still actually called that, but my liver blood tests has started to get high when I had COVID. And apparently that is something that, I don't know how well known this is among people / doctors generally, but apparently they now think that my liver tests were high because I had COVID, and possibly / probably had nothing to do with the mercaptopurine. Yeah. So that's where I'm at now. Basically, I've been told to stay on 50 until I have my next COVID booster, or what the fuck ever, which is, I think, Wednesday evening of this week coming from when I'm filming. Whenever this goes up, all of that will be done. Yeah, they said get the booster, wait a week, then start taking mercaptopurine at 100 micrograms again, and then get a blood test in the following like 2 or 3 weeks to see how I'm coping with the 100 micrograms of mercaptopurine. So I don't know, I guess this is possibly good. If the liver tests were caused to go up by COVID and not the medication, then this does mean that I have a possibility of, again, not changing my meds much, or, you know, not changing to different kinds of medications, and it might help me get off steroids without flaring, because obviously I didn't really get a chance to do that because the liver tests were just so high. Yeah, I don't know how I feel. It's not something I've really looked into yet, but I'll probably do some research after I film this video and insert some screenshots and the links somewhere in the description. But yeah, it's something I've personally never heard of, but also it's not, haven't really done a whole lot of research into COVID itself. So at least I know what I'm sort of looking for in this next bit of research, I guess. But I don't know, it feels too convenient, you know? It feels too convenient to blame it on COVID instead of the medication. So yeah, hesitant to be excited by that at all. Yeah, I tried to bring up my chronic pain issues coming back. I did bring up my eyesight as well. My rheumatologist thinks it's most likely to be the steroids, although she was surprised if it would be linked because of the dose I'm on. But also, like, I personally think that there is just not enough research done on long-term steroid use anyway. So I think even if I've been on a low dose, considered low compared to what most people tend to be on short term, is like 30 to 60 micrograms, and I'm on like 10 at the moment. Being on them long term, I feel like will have an effect, you know. But basically, apparently the science behind that is because steroids cause water retention, they can cause water retention in your eyeballs, which then causes your eyes to be like, your sight to be more blurry / your sight to become more short-sighted. So who knows, if I get off the steroids, will my eyesight get better? Or will it stop getting worse? That would be nice, please. I'm spending so much money every year on these fucking glasses. But she did also say, oh, maybe just your eyesight's getting worse. I'm like, I don't think so. again, too convenient of the timing of my eyesight getting worse and correlating with the start of my long-term steroids and starting my adalimumab injections. But also, from my own research, it is a side effect of adalimumab, long-term sight changes. It's less seen in infliximab, and usually the sight changes are only for a short period of time, usually after the infusion is done. So yeah, you know, still suspicious. I don't know whether I completely feel okay with just putting it on the steroids or not. We'll see, I guess. It's something that I will probably bring up with my gastro whenever the fuck I see him. But yeah, the other thing we brought up was chronic pain coming back. And I was just told to exercise and given a photocopy of
studies that now show that 10 minutes of walking every day makes all of these things better / less likely.
And she basically said that she wouldn't suggest using the cocodamol. She would suggest upping the amitriptyline. So I have been experimenting a little bit with taking 30 micrograms instead of 20 in the evenings. Not really a whole lot different. I think it's something I'll be having to take into my own hands anyway, outside of the doctor's office. I am experimenting with some CBD products, and I have made some inquiries into medical cannabis. I don't know how censored that word's going to be on YouTube, but there we are. So yeah, I have a lot to think about with regards to what I'm going to do next. I did also ask or say, like, I am looking into getting a POTS diagnosis, but I couldn't really work out who it is that I would need to see for that. And she said a cardiologist and the GP will refer me, is where I'll get the referral. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing in my doctor's appointment early November, is sorting that out. Yeah, because the phlebotomist did say that my heart rate is very high. When I was in there, I think it was at 135, 130-ish. And I said to her that usually at home it is between like 90 and 100 or 110-ish. But I'm quite sedentary at home, so but she wasn't too worried about that, mainly because the pattern is not abnormal. It's just fast, so that is good at least, you know. But also I did know that already because I've done an ECG earlier this year. The other thing the rheumatologist did mention is that obviously the long-term side effects as well with steroids are things linked to like blood sugar and stuff, but I did have that tested earlier this year apparently. Don't remember when, but I did. And as usual, my blood sugar / diabetes tests still looking fine, babes. Fattest I've ever been, eating a lot of fucking sugar. Carbs are my one and only true love. And I am still having no issues with blood sugar or diabetes. So I would just like to say fuck you very much to everybody who keeps trying to tell me that that is the reason for everything that's wrong with me. It is not, babes. It is not. I think, as I said in like a video a while ago, I think I just have a very different like response to sugar than the average person, because as well, my teeth are a bit stained because I like to consume foods that stain my teeth, but I've never had cavities. I've always had a ridiculous sweet tooth. Never had any extensive dental work done, just like certain corrective braces. And I don't have much of an issue with, what is it called? Plaque? Is that it? Yeah, I think it's plaque. I don't have hard to remove plaque or any kind of teeth problems. I do have gum issues, but that is something else. So I don't know, I think it's very interesting that a lot of people demonize the consumption of sugar / carbs, and really it just seems to be like, you know, as I say all the time, we are all very different individual people with individual needs, babes. Like, I do not feel like shit when I eat loads of sugar, my dudes. I feel the same regardless of what I eat, you know, except from things that trigger my Crohn's. This is what I mean. That's the one sugar I can't have, is lactose. Disgusting. But yeah, so just a little fat phobic fuck you very much to everybody else. Nice to know. Yeah, and I have another appointment with the rheumatologist at like the very end of this year, so I have to get another blood test like just before I go in. Yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. I know. But yeah, I just thought I would add an update to say, oh, actually, takesy backsies, I'm going back up on Capturing. Just had to add in this clip because since I recorded this video, I've had the results of those blood tests back. And note, this was before I've even gone up in dose of my captopril. My CRP is still normal, which is one of the inflammatory markers they look at. My ESR has now come down into normal, which is good. Most of the things that come under the liver function test seem normal except for one. I can't remember which one exactly it is, so if I can be bothered. Here has slightly come out of the normal range, so I've done a little bit of googling with if there's anything I can do myself that can help it. A lot of the things are so typical of like, eat better, exercise more, blah blah blah. One of them is drink more coffee. So even the things I've read said they don't know why. I don't know if it's the coffee itself, like something in the coffee, or specifically the caffeine, no idea. But because I'm now quite sensitive to too much caffeine because of my ADHD meds, I drink decaf coffee, so, but it does still have some caffeine in, so I've been drinking more coffee recently. And also because my blood pressure's been high, I've been trying to drink more herbal teas of like rosehip, I think. No, it's not rosehip. What the fuck's it called? Hibiscus tea, to see if that can help bring that down. But basically a lot of the problems I'm dealing with at the moment are mainly just side effects of steroids, being on a dose higher than like, I don't know, 5 micrograms for a long period of time, because early this year my blood pressure had come back down to normal, and that was when I was nearly off the steroids, so we'll see. I do feel like though I may have garnered some useful information about controlling my face inflammation as I come off, oh my god, mood, steroids, because I definitely have not been breaking out as often. Obviously my blood test showing as well that my inflammatory markers are good helps. Apparently, babes, I think it's just one of them things that just shows that scientific and medical understanding of things can change so quickly. Because I wonder if it's something that they just didn't know at the time, like in June, but it's maybe something they do know now in mid to late October. Mid-October when I had the appointment, I suppose. Especially with COVID, there has been a lot more of a faster advancement in our understanding of it versus other like long-term health conditions. So, but yeah, besides that, I was telling my chiropractor about my POTS and he suggested cucumber water, because apparently there's a lot of electrolytes in cucumber if you make cucumber water. I have yet to do it, but might be on my list. We'll see. Yeah, besides that, I am just trying to continue being like a little bit physically active every day. Not difficult when my Fitbit is telling me that I am on a run when I am seated in the shower. You know, if I had the energy for a shower every day, then like, you know, I would have my exercise in daily, my raising my heart rate exercise daily. But I don't, so I have to do other things. But also, this weather is extremely uncomfortable right now. It's like 18 degrees during the day, which is what summer used to be like 10 years ago in the UK. But at night, I'm sleeping fully clothed. Like, I'm literally going to sleep in like my leggings and a t-shirt because the house is so cold. Because I still haven't worked out how fucking radiators work. Just wish we hadn't bothered putting in a new heating system at this point. Fuck it. Fuck it. But I've done it now. Halfway done. Anyway, that's it from me on health updates. Anyway, like the video, it helps the algorithm. Leave comments down below in the comment section. Also algorithm, but you know, if you have sources for things I've said, feel free to drop them there. And subscribe to my channel. I'm like this close. We'll see by the time this video goes up, but when I'm recording this, I'm 15 subscribers away from 600 on here. Wow. So you know, I quite like to reach like 600 before the year ends. So share my videos, babes. Yeah, algo. helps small creators. And also before I leave, I have been putting together like a master Google Doc of all of my own research that I've done on lots of different topics. Obviously mainly it'll be things that I deal with myself or my friends / family deal with, and I have tried to keep it semi-organized, so there'll be headings that you can sort of like navigate through on the side, and they all have like the title or like the topic of the articles next to the link. So if you would like access to that, because it's not stuff I share everywhere, some of the links I have shared before, but this is going to be just a general master doc of everything I do research on. Yeah, if you want access, all of my members on Ko-fi will be allowed to have access to it. Otherwise, any kind of one-off donation on Ko-fi as well. If you just let me know that you would like access to the document, and we can work out either emailing it to you or using the chat function on Ko-fi or something like that, let me know. Yeah, I just like, it was just one of the things that I've been working on because my ADHD likes to hold on to all of the tabs in my internet windows on all of my devices. I don't like closing the tabs in case I need that particular thing again. So this is how I'm getting around that. But also like, because I've done a lot of the research into finding these particular articles, especially with some of them being a bit rare, niche, I would appreciate donations to support my labour that I've put into it. But also there is a free option if you would like to help organise the document more, because it is not currently in alphabetical order. I don't think mentally I could do it, so I would need some people's help to keep it organised in that sort of way. If that's something you'd be interested in doing, I'm happy to allow you to have access to the document for free, you know, for your labour of helping to organise. So you can also let me know those things down in the comments as well. But I just thought it might be useful for some other people out there, and also useful for myself to come back to down the line and help sort of organise some of my internet and digital files, because they've been driving me a little bit up the wall recently. So anyway, that's all I have this week. I'll see you next week. Bye.